Because of the owner's convictions, Adam Hart has been left permanently closed, leaving a hole in the local Pullman music scene. Felicity Watson, a current resident of the Ruckus, was assigned a roommate to fill the empty space in her unit. The only problem was, it was week 8 of the semester, and WSU students had just finished up midterms at this point. CJ Robert's most recent trivia theme was Lord of the Rings, where she asked questions like, what year did the first movie come out, and what is Gollum's real name? But the question we asked was, how are the people of Pullman responding to these new events? Do you know? However, a vegan lifestyle may leave certain necessary nutrients harder to incorporate into your diet. Now, I spoke with one of the drivers. He did request to not be on camera, but he did say that he wishes that the routes would go back to the way they were. Reporting in Pullman, I'm Ivy Schank. Pullman's student housing complex, the Ruckus, has produced some strong opinions over the years.
Everything's broken. I moved in and everything was a mess. My AC wasn't working, the door doesn't lock, the fridge was falling apart, just things like that, where it's like, it was supposed to happen, but nobody cared enough to do anything.
Felicity Watson, a current resident of the Ruckus, was assigned a roommate to fill the empty space in her unit. The only problem was, it was week 8 of the semester, and WSU students had just finished up midterms at this point.
It was definitely weird. It's midway through the semester. Weird to have to go through the whole someone moving in process while you're also doing midterms and trying to figure out everything in the house.
The Ruckus refused an interview, but Philip Chambers, the general manager, did say in an email that this is a common tension in residence life and the student housing industry globally.
I was definitely a bit upset at the Ruckus. Everything else about the whole living here and this situation as a whole has been terrible. And so them adding on this on top of it is just...
Watson said the Ruckus gave her 48 hours notice that she was receiving a roommate. But her leasing agreement says that the complex can assign anyone to a vacancy at any point with or without notice.
I came home from work and they had already moved in. I signed it in my lease. I was stupid. I didn't go through it and check everything, which I really should have, because I wouldn't have moved here. I will never in a million years go back to this place.
Watson said she wishes she reviewed her lease when signing more carefully and encourages future residents to do the same. If you don't, you might come home one day to find someone else moving in. Reporting in Pullman, I'm Ivy Schank. Pubs and Cups in downtown Pullman is a sanctuary of dogs, coffee, and now trivia.
Did everybody get down the people?
I started doing it at Rico's, did it a few times, but then obviously when we opened up the downtown location of Pubs and Cups, I was like, we could probably do the same thing here.
The beloved Pullman business, which allows your dog to sit next to you as you sip your favorite cup of joe, has started hosting themed trivia nights a couple times a month, complete with decorations, costumes, and a themed menu.
You know, your regular trivia is pretty regular. Like, no one in town actually does themed nights where they actually do like a themed menu and decorate to it and have, you know, costume contests and stuff like that. So that's where kind of I was like, you know, see a need, fill a need. And having already had experience, I knew it was going to be successful.
CJ Robert's most recent trivia theme was Lord of the Rings, where she asked questions like, what year did the first movie come out, and what is Gollum's real name? But the question we asked was, how are the people of Pullman responding to these new events? Do you know?
I like to show off, and I'm very competitive. And I really like the movies, and I really enjoy the books, and it also gives me an excuse to dress up. So
I love dressing up. I love coming out to things like this, and Lord of the Rings in particular holds a deep place in my heart after reading them in high school.
I think that the local community of Pullman is trying to find more inexpensive things to do. We all don't have that much money nowadays, so it's nice to find something to do that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. I was honestly humbled by the fact that, you know, my tiny little event was able to bring in all of these other Lord of the Rings nerds.
Pubs and Cups' next trivia night will be October 24th with a Harry Potter theme. Doors will open at 6 and trivia will begin at 7. Reporting in Pullman, I'm Ivy Schank.
Are we ready, guys?